Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Michael's Corner. It's been a while since I done these episodes on Zoom, so bear with me, you guys. Yeah. If if you can, so make sure you're following me on social media and whatnot. Facebook would be Michael's Corner. Twitter X will be at Michael Pam. And YouTube will be Michael's Wrestling Channel. Wow. I hope you guys are having a great spring. Wow. I didn't expect it to be like so warm this early. So yeah, I'm enjoying this weather, this nice warm weather we're having. So, well, anyways, with that being said, I have a special guest that's going to be joining me momentarily. Um, James Jeffries will be on here. So it's been a while since I last talked to him. So um, I'm pretty excited about this. So let's just not waste any more time and let's bring him on. So you guys give me a second.
Hey,
Hey,
Michael,
how's it going?
it's going good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Oh my goodness. I just took a nap and I was like, oh my goodness. I got up, it was 6:20, and I was like, holy shit. Let, let me
Do you feel refreshed?
yes, I do.
Good, good.
Yes, I do. Work kicked my butt today. So how's everything going?
Everything's good. Just been hanging out, doing some wrestling shows here and there. And then my son is 3 years old. So he keeps us busy. So
Wow.
no
He's already
complaints. No complaints. How's everything with you?
everything's going good. Yeah, I've been working and going to wrestling shows and doing some interviews right there and then. So yeah, I've been pretty busy.
Yes.
Like like tomorrow I'm going to that Northern Lights wrestling show. That's gonna be in St. Paul. And then, of course, I'm going to MAW show on this Saturday in Hastings. So,
That's good. That's a good full weekend of wrestling. Two good promotions. So
yeah.
I bet you there'll be lots of good matches too. So
Oh my God, yes.
yeah.
Yes. That's the way to kick off the unofficial start to summer and whatnot. So,
Yes.
yeah, so I just got some questions for you because I don't want to keep you on here too long because you got a kid and whatnot, and
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me on, Michael. It's always good to catch up with you. So thanks for having me.
yeah, you're very welcome. And like I said, you're always welcome to be on Michael's corner and whatnot. So the last time I interviewed you, we were at that MIW show.
Yes.
So how? So ever since the interview, have you been wrestling a lot lately, or and whatnot?
Yeah. Yep. I've been wrestling quite a bit, I'd say. Here and there I've done some wrestling for Impact Pro Wrestling, which has, been my home for years. I've done a couple matches with MIW Wrestling. Um, I want to say shortly after I saw you last, I did maybe two shows for MAW.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been going down to St. Louis quite a bit here this year to wrestle for SICW, which is
Oh,
Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling for Herb Simmons. So, um, yeah, I got to wrestle too for Absolute Pro Wrestling in Iowa, and then I got a couple. I got a show actually up in Rochester, Minnesota, for Madhouse Wrestling. So
mm-hmm.
I got some wrestling shows here to go through the middle of May, through the end of May, and then I got a couple this summer. So it'll be a, like you said, a busy summer of wrestling. I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. And in our last interview we did, you mentioned something that you also train in wrestlers, and whatnot. So how is that going?
So at this time, actually, I'm not training wrestlers.
What?
Um, yep, and it's all good. We might start back up here sometime again, but I was training for Impact Pro Wrestling, and we're currently not taking new students at this time. So which
Mm-hmm.
everybody's good with, and I'm good with it too. So, but maybe someday train some wrestlers again. But if not, that's okay too. I had 5 good years of training wrestlers. So, a lot of my students are wrestling around Iowa, Minnesota, Missouri, Illinois. So, it was a good experience, if I never get to do it again. So, but yeah, I not currently training wrestlers, but you never know. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. I've been keeping my eyes on Evan Everhart,
yeah.
and that, ooh, and there's this one other wrestler I've been keeping my eyes on. That Bruce, wherever his name is, that
Is it
Bruce Jordan, I
Bryce
believe.
Bryce Jordan and Ethan Everhart?
Yes,
Yeah.
those two I've been keeping my eyes on. But that Bryce Jordan,
Yep.
oh my God, he's trouble.
Oh
He's trouble.
yeah. Yeah, he is. Bryce and Ethan. I mean, Bryce Jordan, man, he can really get you upset. Like he he gets no joy from the fans sometimes, it seems like. I mean, he's a heck of a talented wrestler, but man,
Oh yeah.
when he gets upset, he gets upset. And yeah, like I said, Bryce is wrestling all over the place, and he's an extremely talented wrestler. And it was a
Yeah.
blast getting to train him and work with him and be a very small part of his story. And then Ethan
Mhm.
Everhart, I mean,
Oh.
he's wrestling. I mean, and opposite. He loves the wrestling fan. He comes out all pumped up, and I just saw him.
Mhm.
He was down in Texas. I just saw he went down there last weekend. So, um, he's every time I look on social media, he's all over the place, and he's a talented wrestler too. And I think he's going to do some big things in wrestling for
Mhm.
years to come. And actually, Michael, I'm not sure if I ever told you this. I first met Ethan in Waterloo when he was probably 15 years old. He was coming to the
Wow.
matches. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been kind of cool to see, he ended up eventually getting into wrestling. And
Hmm.
now he's a huge star, in the Midwest. So he's very, very talented.
Yeah, and you know something too? Um, I think we talked about this before. Oh my God. And see, that's the person who I've been trying to get onto my show because this Ethan, he's a hell of a talented guy, you know. The fans love him and you know, he's getting very, very good. Um, I think he has a match this Saturday at MAW against the most professional scumbag, Shay Diesel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll be a good match. And I mean, both
Oh,
those guys are heavy hitters.
yeah, but you know something? He needs to watch out. Shay Diesel, he can he can hit hard.
Yes, yes. I've actually seen him wrestle a few times. And, I think if Ethan tries to dodge him and use some of his quickness and his aerial tactics, he'll
Hmm.
he'll be able to get away from him and get a few shots in. But I think if Diesel gets a hold of him, I, it could be all over. But that'd be a heck of a matchup to see.
Hmm. And I just got the green light to film some of the matches this Saturday. So if I will definitely be filming that match because
That
it's gonna be one heck of a match.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool that they gave you the green light to film some matches, and I'll be looking for it on your YouTube channel. I've seen some matches
Mhm.
that you posted in the past, and
Yeah,
it's yeah, that's a heck of a promotion there, MAW Wrestling. So
yeah.
they always they always have such good matches, and that'll be fun. It'll be a fun Friday and Saturday for you of wrestling.
Hmm. And you know something, and I'm glad we're talking about MAW because Midwest All Star Wrestling, you know, each year they're getting bigger, you know, and I pour my money out to this company for so many years, you know. Some of the fans are keep calling me a legend,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm like, you know something? Well, I've been going to indie indie pro wrestling shows in Minnesota for about 14 years.
Yep. I'd say that
And
definitely makes you a legend, and I always enjoy seeing you at the matches and man, it's yeah, 14 years. I mean, there's probably so many matches that you could list off that are great that have happened up there in the state of Minnesota and elsewhere and yeah, that's the thing too, Michael, is you're a fantastic wrestling fan. You're always supportive of the promotions and the wrestlers. So, I mean, you just exemplify everything that being a wrestling fan is, and the
yeah,
wrestling fans too, as you know, Michael, they make the wrestlers. We're not anything without wrestling fans. So, I mean,
mhm.
I wouldn't be here today without wrestling fans, and I'm just very fortunate.
And like I was talking to a friend of mine's, do you know this person by the name of Lisa Marie
Yes,
Veron?
yes,
I chat with her once a month on
very
Zoom.
nice. Yes, my wife.
I just want to throw that out there, but I got her on my 8x10.
Yeah.
And he was telling me support indie pro wrestling because you guys don't make as much money as the WWE superstars or TNA or AEW. So she's mentioning always support indie pro wrestling because
Yes.
because technically the money is coming from us fans,
Yep.
you know, because we, like you said, without us fans like me and other people, you guys wouldn't be doing this right now and whatnot. And I also gotta give respect to the wrestlers because y'all are training night in and night out to entertain us wrestling fans.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about is, just entertaining the wrestling fans, like you said. And we're all wrestling fans. Wrestlers are just fans that became wrestlers, which, hey, I mean, I think wrestling's in such a good place right
Mm,
now. And yeah, the wrestling fan just makes it all worthwhile. And like in a lot of those real tough matches and the ones where you're getting beat down and you're tired and 20 minutes have gone by, 30 minutes, it really is the wrestling fans cheering and booing that gets you back up and says, "Hey, I got to keep going because these people paid their hard-earned money to be entertained. So you want to go out there and wrestle hard." So and like Lisa Marie Varon, she actually wrestled my wife Nicole at Hall of Fame a couple years ago, and
okay.
she's a big fan of hers, and yeah, she's super great, and I think too the independents, a lot of people go from the independent wrestling to WWE, and when they leave WWE, they come back to the indies.
Hmm.
It's just a great big wrestling, you know, family or wrestling circle. So,
Yep, yep. And like oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes, we have to deal with some of the negativity, on social media as well. Like if someone tries to bring bring me down or any other wrestler down, and if I see, like just that one bad negative tweet or negative post, and I learned this. It took me quite some time to, I was like, hey, they're talking really bad about me. And it's like the best thing to do in that situation, don't no response.
yes, sir.
Um, you it's like I post my life lessons on social media, um, on Instagram, my Instagram stories. I post my life lessons, and I always say no response is a powerful response.
Yep.
And you just can't let negative people, or at least I try not to let negative people on the internet get under your skin because that's not real.
Yeah.
Like this, going to wrestling shows, this is real.
Yeah. Yes. And
So
I
like,
agree. I agree 100% with you. I agree 100%. Just let them, that you got to take the high road, I
yeah,
feel.
and that's what we gotta teach, these people who wants to get into wrestling, that there might be some fans that might like you, and there might be some fans that will hate you.
Yeah.
And the best thing you gotta do is, you know, because at the end of the day, you can't control what people are going to say about you. The only thing you can control, and I said this in a recent post, and you might have seen it and agree with it too. The only thing you can't control is how you respond back to people.
Yes, I agree. I agree
Mhm.
100%.
Yep. So like if anybody trying to get under my skin at wrestling shows, let's talk about it, Let's talk about it like grown-ups, because all this bickering back and forth, it's not gonna get us anywhere.
Yep.
It's not gonna get the talent anywhere. It's not gonna get, myself anywhere. I just do what I do, and I think doing these interviews for a long period of time, I grew. I grew,
Yeah.
So, and yeah, and that's the thing. So yeah. So what? There's something else I want to bring up to you right quick. Is So like if how do you manage, like, if you saw like a bad post, or like if someone sent to you and whatnot, how do you weed out all the noise, should I say?
A lot of times I'll ignore it, like you're saying. I won't respond because it's just going to get me upset, and I don't want to get upset. And, I can delete some of these posts or whatever that are on Facebook or Instagram that's on my page, you know, and I'll just do that, because then I don't see it again. And we're all people and we all have feelings, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I just there's no need to bully somebody or no need to talk about the negative side of things, I feel. And we all as people, as humans, get negative sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think just hey, you just keep trying to stay positive and ignore the stuff or like some of the like I'll see some of the wrestling, the negative stuff there too. I just won't visit that site again. I'm like, man, this is all just noise,
Mm-hmm.
like you're saying. But yeah, I just try to ignore it and focus on the good parts of life and the good friends in life because I
Mm-hmm.
feel too that um, don't get hung up on the one person that's saying something bad about you or bad to you or bad in general. Think of all the people that care about you and enjoy being around you and
Mm-hmm.
uh, and like you, because
Uh-huh.
those are the ones that really are going to be there for you at the end of the day. I feel.
Yes, yes, you are exactly right. You're spot on, because you know we got a choice in life. Either, you can't one. This is what the Jim Ross always say.
Yeah.
One can't grieve forever. You have a choice. You can spend the rest of your days just, I hate to use this terms, bitching and complaining about
Yeah.
everything, or you can just go out there and do something about it. If you want to see change in life, it all starts with your attitude.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And like too, like just kind of circling back to wrestling, like you hear. the different things about WWE, oh, it's not the same as when it was when I was a kid. I've said those things too. But at the same time, I watched WrestleMania both nights, and man, just the production and the entrances and the matches. Yeah, it's not the same, but it's in a great place, I feel, because it's everywhere now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fascinating how much it's grown and is reaching so many different countries and so many people are being able to enjoy it. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, WrestleMania, it was a great show to watch. Um, the matches were good, and there are some matches that I didn't like, and it's like, oh, I didn't like how this went about, but
Yeah.
you know, there's always room to improve, you know,
Oh yeah.
and like I said, again with Ethan Everhart,
Yeah.
he's that wrestler, and it's like, oh my goodness. It's like if he makes a mistake in the ring, oh my God, he finds a way
Yeah. Yeah, he
to,
yeah, he
and
he
that's,
does.
and that's the reason why I love filming his matches
Yep.
because he can just watch that video, and because the video doesn't lie, if he makes a mistake, oh my God, it's like he finds a way to improve himself in the ring.
Yes, absolutely. I think he works very hard. He spends a lot of time in the gym, a lot of time in the ring, a lot of time with the wrestling fans. I think he's doing everything the right way, in my opinion, as
Mm,
far as just really putting the effort in to want to make it in wrestling, and I think it shows. I mean, he's everywhere. Every time I get on, Facebook or social media, whatever, he's wrestling somewhere. And yeah, he's very talented, and he's got his own style, and I think he meshes well with a lot of the style that's today in today's
mm,
wrestling. You know, the back and forth matches, the uh, very intricate movements. I mean, he's a very talented wrestler.
hmm And like I said, in due time, if he makes that heel turn, woo, it's over. He's
Yeah.
gonna hear it from me.
Oh
That's
yeah.
for sure. He'll hear it from me, but you know something? It'll be, I'll sit there and it's like, oh yes, this is him. That he's just being him. And you know what? I gotta interview this guy sometime, and I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna see him, and I'm gonna be like, we should do the interview right quick because
Yeah.
this guy is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll I'll reach out to him too and say that you're interested in interviewing him. So,
Yes, yes, because he's awesome.
oh yeah.
Um, so so like because I got so many subscribers on YouTube. Tell everyone like right quick, how you got your start in wrestling and whatnot. Because I do got new subscribers on YouTube almost almost every day.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. So, I got my start in wrestling. So, I went to a show up in Rochester, Minnesota, an indie show, and I met Baron von Raschke at that show. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, Baron," I said, "I really want to get into wrestling." I was a junior or senior in high school. I said, where do you go to learn how to wrestle? So Baron pointed me in the direction of Brad Reinigan's, and I wrote Brad a letter, saying who I am. I'd love to train to wrestle. Well, Brad wasn't taking students anymore. He had wrapped up his training as well.
Mm-hmm.
So then Barron sent me down to Harley Race down in Missouri, and I went down to visit Harley, and he was very nice to me, showed me around his school. At the time, I was too small for his school.
Oh, wow.
So I was about 120 pounds, and he said you got to be 170 to come to my school, which hey, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And he was still so nice, showed me around. And later that summer, he was doing a show in Waterloo, Iowa for the Dan Gable Tragos Thez Hall of Fame weekend. So I went
Mm-hmm.
to that show. Maybe I, wanted to say hi, and shortly before that event, I saw a commercial on KIMT out of Mason City for Impact Pro Wrestling, and TS Aggressor was the trainer. So I watched the commercial, and I'm like, man, there's a school here in Algona, Iowa, not too far from my home. And a couple weeks later, I go to Harley's show, and TS, Travis is his real name, is sitting in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, hey, I said, aren't you, I said, you're, uh, TS from the KIMT commercial. He said, yep, shook his hand. And apparently he had done some wrestling for Harley for years. You know,
Oh,
he'd wrestled for him many times. So he was renting his ring out to Harley. They had a good relationship. And then I come to find out that TS was actually trained by Brad Reinigans. So it
okay.
kind of comes full circle for me. Uh, Baron, sent me to Brad's direction, who sent me to Harley, and then I go to one of Harley's shows and meet Travis, and then I started that August with Travis. He said, "Hey, come check out our school. I think you're big enough now, and you'll keep getting bigger. You'll keep putting muscle on. Just come check it out." So um, between Baron von Raschke and Travis Shillington opened the door for me and
Mm-hmm.
trained me to wrestle, and that's how I got into wrestling. And Impact Pro Wrestling's been my home uh, since 2007, and it was a lot of fun training with TS. And then there was another guy named Johnny Fitness that was kind of the assistant coach, one of Travis's students. He was involved in my training too. So it's very cool to work with both of them. Um, and they're both, Trav and Johnny Fitness, they're both great guys. They just really took good care of you throughout the school and the camp, and really, really taught us how to survive in wrestling. And I couldn't have ended up anywhere else that was better than uh, the IPW Vault and Impact Pro Wrestling. So I was very fortunate to get in when I did. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So, yeah, and there's a lot of questions that I got asked you. I don't know if I asked you this at the last interview or not, but let's just get it out there because you know me getting new
yeah,
subscribers on YouTube. It's crazy.
yeah.
So, who makes your ring gear? May I?
So the person that makes my ring gear Her name is Anastasia, and if anybody out there is looking for ring gear, you can find her on Facebook or social media. She's made all of my ring gear, all of my, tights, my robe. Um, just, I mean, she's always made me look a lot better than I am. You know, like I'll give her an idea, and she'll say, "What about this?" Or "What do you think about these colors or how this looks?" Well, she'll make it look 10 times better than anything I could ever come up with, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Anastasia is her name.
So,
And also for my boots, there's a guy down in Texas named it's Ace's Boots, and he's made a lot of boots for some of the guys on WWE. But he has the best wrestling boots of all time. I feel very comfortable and very affordable. So,
mhm. All right. So you guys, if you're a wrestler, if you're looking for gear and looking for somebody to make your gear or whatnot, just reach out to those people,
yep,
you know, and be specific on what you got, what you want. That's because communication is so important, very important.
yes, and they're very both Anastasia's and Ace's boots. They're great to communicate with. I mean, they're fantastic. I highly recommend both of them, and they're great people. So they've always done right by me, and I think many others that go to them for their wrestling gear would say the same.
Hmm. Yes. Now, I got this one last question because you got things to do. I got things to do. Um, but I'm a still one from. Have you heard of Chris Van Leek?
Yeah.
I'm a still one of his um still one of his questions and whatnot.
Okay.
Gratitude is so important in my life.
Yeah.
What are the three things are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for three things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my family, my wife Nicole and Carrie. Um, I'm grateful for I'm grateful for life and getting to spend a wonderful time on this earth. And I'm grateful for my health.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one, you know?
Ooh, I don't know if I ever asked you that question. Oh my God. I This is the first.
Yeah.
So I had to steal it for because Chris Van Leek is one of my favorite, interviewers and whatnot. He does great interviews, and I just watching his interviews and whatnot. I had to steal that from him and whatnot. So
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with I mean, it's not really stealing, it's just borrowing. That's what all of us wrestlers do too. Like I wear all this fringe and stuff to the ring, tassel boots. I stole all that from Kerry Von Erich and Superstar Billy Graham and the Macho Man. Like
mm,
I borrowed all of it. I said stole. That's see, I mean, you just you're just borrowing from the great ones like Chris Van Vliet. I watch his interviews too. Like I really enjoyed the one he had with Jesse the Body Ventura on
mm.
there. I listened to his Scott Steiner one. I've listened to many of his. He's a very good interviewer.
Yeah, yeah. Before you go, you you got. Any wrestling events coming up that you like to share before we wrap up?
Yes, I would. So, starting next weekend, May 16th and 17th, I'll be down in St. Louis for Fan Fest 3 with SICW Wrestling. And what that is it's a weekend to honor some of the great legends from past and present. They get inducted into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. So, like Kevin Von Erich's going to be down there, Cowboy Bob Orton. There's a whole list. Tito Santana will be there. There's a whole list of great wrestlers for any wrestling fan. If if you ever get a chance to go to Fan Fest down in St. Louis, it's definitely something to put on your bucket list. It's a great weekend, for autographs. They have, inductions, wrestling matches. It's a great one. So I'll have that next weekend. And then the following weekend, I'll be in Mason City, Iowa for Social Experiment Wrestling. And that's a new promotion that's started here in Iowa. And they're making a heck of a buzz. They've run some really good wrestling shows. Had like Chris Masters and the one up in Mason City. They're having the Rock and Roll Express and Enzo Amore on that one. So
Mhm.
um, that's the weekend of May 24th. Social Experiment Wrestling, and then I'll finish out my uh, May with two shows for MIW Wrestling. One in Blaine, Minnesota, and on Friday, and then one on Saturday, May 31st in Faribault, Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
So I got 3 weeks of wrestling coming up, and I'm really looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing the wrestling fans, and I really appreciate the promotions that are having me uh, come and wrestle. It means a lot to me, and I'm looking forward to wrestling and seeing everybody. So those are the only ones right now that I can think of, and
Mhm.
we got our a big event. SICW Wrestling is doing the Tragos Thez Hall of Fame weekend in July. Another one for any wrestling fans bucket list. It has a fan fest, induction ceremony, wrestling show. It's there's so much good wrestling going on in the Midwest, and especially in the summertime. Like you could
Yes.
you could pretty much look any weekend and there's some good wrestling up there. There's just yeah, I'm really looking forward to these shows coming up.
Oh yeah, yeah, because summer is approaching, and I want to see some good wrestling, new storylines. I
Yeah.
love storytelling, and whatnot. So where can fans follow you on social media?
So you can follow me on social media on X. It's at the real J double,
Mm,
and Instagram James Jeffries, and Facebook, James Jeffries. So that's where I usually post my wrestling events and different fun things that this life has. You know, so yeah.
mm. Okay, well, James, it is such great catching up with you, and hopefully I'll bring you back on here in two 2 to 3 months time, and we'll talk we'll talk about this again because oh my goodness, yeah, because I just enjoy doing these interviews with you. And I gotta say, you always make me feel comfortable comfortable, telling you telling you, my stories and whatnot. Yeah, so that's the reason why I like to have you back on here in about I'd say 2 or 3 months.
That sounds good to me, Michael, and I appreciate you saying those things, and it really means a lot to me, your support. And anytime you want to have me on Michael's Corner, I'm happy to be on. I always love catching up with you too and seeing you at the matches. I hope that I'll have, get to see you here at a couple of these Minnesota shows coming up, or maybe a couple of these ones in Iowa. But I always enjoy catching up with you and just keep going to wrestling shows and keep doing these interviews. You do a good job at them.
Yep. Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
So
sir.
you have a great night. Show your 3-year-old son some love for me. Well,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. I will.
All right, we'll touch base.
All right. Take care, Michael. Thank
All
you.
right. Yep. So so let's end.